Man, it does feel good to make a short video this time, and I'm actually quite excited to shoot today's video because this topic is the latest humbling moment in my understanding of biology. Like, for the last 7-8 years, I held on to the concept of microtearing is how our muscle grow. I mean, you could ask a biology student who's never lifted a dumbbell in their entire life on how the muscle mass increase. They would probably say something like, oh, when you put your muscle under high tension, it would tear at microscopic scale in many areas. And to repair those damages, our body will regrow the muscle at those torn areas, but the new muscle will be thicker than before to make sure the tears won't happen again. First thing first, that's not even how microtearing works. When the muscle cells are damaged, the nearby cells do not receive signals to undergo mitosis to replace the loss of cells and simultaneously increase the number of cells there, so we end up with skeletal muscle tissue that is bigger in size. No, our muscle cells relatively stop increasing after puberty. Instead, signals are sent to activate satellite cells located on the outer surface of the muscle fibers. These satellite cells multiply, migrate to the injury site, fuse with the existing muscle cells, donating their nuclei. See, I've made that clear already, okay? They do not just sit with them and differentiate whatsoever to increase the quantity of muscle cells there. Nope, nothing like that. What is the significance of increasing the number of nucleus in a cell? By the way, unlike most other cells, the skeletal muscle cells have multiple nuclei as they are much larger in size compared to your average cell. With more nuclei, the cell has a greater capacity to control and coordinate various cellular functions. You guys must have heard about the analogy that nucleus in a cell is like manager in a factory. With more managers on the floor, you can ramp up the cell production, especially in the production of proteins that are involved in muscle contraction. For example, actin and myosin. Here's the thing, actin and myosin build myofibrils. As the myofibrils thicken, they take up more space within the cell, increasing the cell's overall volume. You get where this is going? If you don't, it's alright, I'm gonna start from the beginning. More nuclei mean more production of actin and myosin, which leads to the production of thicker and stronger myofibrils. That results in larger skeletal muscle cells, thicker skeletal muscle tissues, and ultimately a bigger muscle. For example, the bicep. Take a look at that. The absolute shocker for me was microtearing is not the main driver for muscle growth, not even the second in the list. That goes to metabolic stress. The top spot, it belongs to a process called mechanical tension. See, when your muscle is contracting to resist a heavy load, the great tension generated within the myofibrils cause them to be slightly deformed. Signals are then sent to the existing nuclei to request for more protein synthesis. Here's where it gets less interesting, because at the mechanical tension or microtearing, it's all about increasing the number of actin and myosin. Microtearing does it by increasing the number of nuclei through satellite cells fusion, so the capacity for protein production expands, while mechanical tension does it by signaling the existing nuclei to increase their productivity. To make it even less interesting, or more interesting if you find it that way, at certain threshold, mechanical tension will eventually result to satellite cells fusion. So yeah, satellite cells can be activated without any muscle damage. Sorry, what's that? Would you mind putting this in the manager factory analogy? Of course, I wouldn't mind. For my loyal YouTube fans, anything is possible in this channel. Just listen carefully, okay? You, being the boss, always have the power to force your current managers to cover more area than what they are assigned to in the factory. But when the factory gets way too big, you start to realize hiring more managers to cover those areas might be an easier and better solution overall. I bet some of you guys watching this video are probably like, oh dude, does it even matter that our muscles do not grow because of microtearing? Gain is gain. Like, why this skinny, malnourished looking kid is trying to lecture us about bodybuilding? First of all, that's not very nice. Secondly, I am trying, okay? You think it's easy to gain muscle mass when you are 12 freaking kg underweight? It's not easy. So just lower your ego, shut your mouth and watch this video like a good little boy. Just let me put it this way. With the belief that you must steer your muscle to get it to grow, gym goers will force themselves to lift unnecessarily heavy loads just to make sure the soreness hits tomorrow morning. They chase the soreness as they think it's a sign of microtearing, and microtearing is equal to progress. Well, the first part is quite true actually. Delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, the soreness that you experience between 12 to 72 hours after lifting, is because of tears in the muscle fibers. The part where you get it wrong is thinking that DOMS is a requirement for muscle growth. No, it's more of a side effect perhaps. This is where a lot of bodybuilders are doing it wrong. Again, yeah, please do not attack my build. That would really hurt my feelings. These people, they spend half of the week training and the other half for just recovering, thinking this is somewhat normal and part of the process. Meanwhile, if their only focus is mechanical tension, their body might allow them to train any day of the week with only one rest day. Come on guys, recovering from soreness already consumes a lot of time. But muscle injury, ooh, that would take weeks. And you guys know it's not really a rare occasion of gym rats pushing themselves above their limit by doing reps with crazy heavy weights, and out of nowhere, boom, injury occurs. And this time it's no longer microtears we are talking about, but an actual tear, like a big rip in their skeletal muscle tissue. Congratulations, you are out for weeks now. Before I wrap this up, allow me to ruin the entire video by saying this. Remember kids, no pain no gain does sound masculine and hardcore. And sure, to a certain degree, muscle building is supposed to be painful and suck. But just know, the more you force that never needed microscopic trauma, the sooner the real muscle trauma will come. I'm sorry man, I have to put that in the video. It sounds quite cool, am I right? And I made that myself, yeah? No ChatGPT. Anyway guys, thank you for watching.